Hey guys, Ozzy here from Tech Bloom, and today we're going to be talking about the ZTE Axon M. Now, I will warn you guys, I don't actually own the phone myself. All the footage you're going to see today is from AT&T. I work there, so I got to take a look at one that we got in the store a couple days ago. So that's going to be all the footage you're going to see today. The ZTE Axon M claims to be the first foldable smartphone ever made, and by a small company like ZTE, that's pretty bold of them to do. Now, as you can see here, I mean foldable with quotations because it's got a hinge on it, so the device itself doesn't technically fold in any way, but it does have a hinge on it. Not in the way that you would think of a folding smartphone to be. But that is not necessarily a bad thing. So the ZTE Axon M has two displays, one on the front, one on the back in its folded state. And when it's out, it enables a few really cool functions. So you can mirror the screen of the main display. The main display will be mirrored onto the second part, so you can fold it in a tent and kind of show other people what you're doing if they're sitting across the table from you, kind of like you see in this picture here. It also folds out to work as an entire tablet, so you can fold it out until it is completely flat as one surface and then use both displays as one giant display. Now this does cause some weird gaps in the center of the screen, mainly where the bezels are, but since the bezels are so small, it's not too bad. The bezels are incredibly slim on the sides of both displays. Really, when you have it in extended mode, that's what this is called, it really is so much more real estate than you're going to get out of any other reasonably pocketable device nowadays. And the last mode that it has is called the dual mode. Now the dual mode is what I think is the most interesting one of all of the modes. You can run two apps side by side, but it's pretty much like using two phones at the same time. It's a really interesting experience on this device. It's really productive, so you can watch YouTube and be researching things that you're hearing off the YouTube video that you're watching. Now, of course, this smartphone does all the normal smartphone things. So it's got a fingerprint reader, which is actually embedded into the power lock button. Which is actually one of my favorite configurations ever. It's so simple, it's so intuitive. I just think it's a really smart thing to do. It's got a headphone jack, which is actually a bit more than a few smartphones can say, Apple. Interestingly enough, it's only got one camera, so the way the camera works is you have it one way, but since there's a screen on the other side, and you can only use the camera in the closed mode, mind you, you can just flip it around to have it be your reverse camera. So that main camera is both your selfie camera and your rear-facing camera. So it should, on paper at least, capture really good selfies. There is an extra button on the ZTE Axon M that is slightly remappable, but mostly it is used for TV mode, which will launch DirecTV. It can also be set to any other video app that you have on your phone, so that includes YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, all that stuff that you can download. You can set it to that button and then you can press it at any time to have it launch that app. That I think is really cool. That's a lot more than most phones have. I know Samsung has the Bixby button, but it's not remappable, so everyone doesn't like it. Now, I've gone this whole article without mentioning a single spec, and that tells you a lot about it. I'll go through a list of all the specs, don't worry. Alright, so the specs are as follows. It's got a 1080 by 1920 LCD, IPS LCD display with a PPI of 426, which is, in hand it does not look bad at all. It's got a Qualcomm SMM 996 Snapdragon 821, so a bit of an older chipset, but still pretty good. It's a quad core with two running at 2.15 gigahertz, and then the other two cores running at 1.6, and the GPU is an Adreno 530. It is expandable up to 512 gigabytes, has 4 gigabytes of RAM, and it has 64 gigabytes of internal storage. The camera is a 20 megapixel autofocus lens. There's a dual tone flash, supports HDR, there's a panorama mode. Video, it supports up to 2160p at 30 frames per second and also 1080p at 30 frames per second. There is no 60 frames per second option in this camera even for 1080p. And it also has a 3180 milliamp hour battery. And that is about it. If you guys like this video, please leave a like. It helps out a lot more than you think. I'm just starting out, so show a little kindness if you like this video. If not, dislike that video. I encourage it. And tell me why it was bad. Tell me how I can do better. And if you want to always get an update whenever I post a new video, please subscribe and then hit that bell right next to the subscribe button to get notifications every time I do. And I will definitely see you guys next time.